Hey everyone, so I was on TikTok and there's been a few epilepsy videos that have popped up today. I think October is Epilepsy Awareness Month is why, but with these videos I feel like God was calling me to speak on this because I have been asked a lot of questions in person by my friends that don't know a lot about epilepsy or that are just figuring out I have epilepsy because I don't advertise it. A lot of y'all may not have known because I don't think I've put it on here. But yeah, so let's talk about it. I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 6 months old. I had my first seizure. And yeah, so I've had epilepsy since I was 6 months old. So my entire life. There's been a lot of questions that I've been asked, so let's start off with those questions. One of the questions I was asked is, can I drive? Yes, I am able to drive as long as, in the state of Louisiana, it is 6 months. And I think in Texas, I think it's like 3 months. But in Louisiana, it is 6 months. You have to be 6 months seizure free and cleared by your neurologist before you can drive. Personally, I am a year and a half seizure free. And I have been cleared by my neurologist. So unless I seize, I am able to drive. Some of my triggers, strobe lights. I am more sensitive to strobe lights at night than I am during the day. But strobe lights is one of my triggers. And so if my mom gets stopped and I'm in the car, she asks them to turn off their lights, and they have to. It is the law. Because if they don't, they could possibly be endangering someone. So yeah, they do have to turn off their front flashers if you ask them to. They can keep their back ones on. They can keep just to where the lights are just on and not flashing. But if someone asks them to turn off their lights due to an epileptic person being in the vehicle, they do have to. So yeah, another one of my seizure triggers is getting hit in the head. For example, I was at school and one of the boys threw a football at his brother. Well, it missed his brother and hit the railing, and it hit me in the mouth. Now, obviously, that's not a huge concern, being that it's just in my mouth, as long as it didn't knock any teeth out. But, you know, that's not a huge concern, but it's still in it's still in this area. So, obviously, I still had to tell my mom. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to youth that night, because typically if I get hit in this vicinity, my mom just wants to kind of watch over me just to make sure everything is all right. So I did tell him I had to tell my mom. So yeah, I did that. Praise God, I was able to go to youth that night. And yeah, so anywhere in this vicinity, if I get hit, it is obviously a concern. More spots are more of a concern than others. For example, here, like from I'd say probably right here up is probably more of a concern. Here on down is probably less of a concern, but still, nonetheless, I get hit in this vicinity, it is still a bit of a concern. Lack of sleep. I have been having more episodes lately. By episodes, I mean, like, I've been feeling seizures coming, but thankfully I've been able to fight them off. And I have been having more episodes lately, and we figured out why. Since I started school, I haven't been allowing myself to get as much rest as needed. By like either sleep or just like a day off to give my body time to rest and recoup. In general, like at least one day a week, I have to give my body that time, because if not, it leaves my body vulnerable to seizures. And yeah, so, and these are just my personal triggers. Everybody with epilepsy is different. If you know an epileptic person or you meet one, I would ask them what their triggers are, just so you know. Because everybody's triggers are different. These are my personal triggers. Some people have the same triggers, some people do not. For a lot of epileptic people, lack of sleep or just rest in general is not a trigger, but for some people it is. Let's see, another one of my triggers, stress. If I'm under a lot of stress, that could be a trigger. The last time I had a seizure was, like I said, 1.5 years ago. That was about 1.5 years after my dad died, or almost 2 years about after my dad died. And I was still going through a lot of stress with everything. So that left my body vulnerable, and I ended up seizing. Not to mention, I think I was also sick. So that just makes everything worse. Another thing is, people with epilepsy, for me, my fever when I'm sick can go from 98 to 104, like that. We've just learned not to freak out, because for me, when I'm sick, if I'm running a simple 100 point something fever, I'm still moving around. Obviously, I'm not feeling good, but I'm still up and about. I'm still moving, still doing my chores, stuff like that. If I'm running 102, I'm down a little bit, but I'll still be getting in and out of bed, stuff like that. Still kind of moving. But if I have a full-fledged fever, for me, which is like 104, and like I said, my fever will spike up like that. It will spike up in an instant. I'm sick. I want my mom. Stuff like that. Like a normal kid when they're sick, except my fever gets so high. Like for a normal person, that would be dangerous. Like that would be ER. That would be we're going to the ER type of fever. But for me, that's a normal fever when I'm sick. And yeah, that's just a few things about epilepsy. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask them. I think I have my Instagram linked on my channel. And so if y'all want to DM me, ask me questions, I will be more than happy to make a video on it. Because I'd much rather educate y'all than y'all not know. And yeah, that's just a few things about epilepsy. So yeah, bye guys.